All right. What's going on with y'all, man? Welcome to the Genius Club, man. And we got some stuff to talk about, with this uh Charlie Kirk situation, right? I was looking at Candace Owen and she was breaking it down. So we're gonna get right into it and let's see what she got to say and let's talk about it. Let's go.
Ask for a lawyer and stay silent. How you guys feeling about that? Yeah. Mark is going to jump on and say something. Go ahead, Mark. Yeah, he's the guy that's always in my ear.
Not always. I just noticed that around some of these exchanges, there's ellipses above them.
You're breaking up a little bit. What'd you say?
Around some of these exchanges, there's ellipses above, if you look really closely.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're cherry picking certain exchanges. So that my dad is super MAGA just comes out of nowhere because they picked it from a totally different part of the conversation.
Yeah, these messages are clearly doctored, is what I would say. They're doctored. Now, they could decide why they're doing that. Tyler's being forthcoming. We're protecting him in some capacity. I find that to be unacceptable. Okay? Unacceptable. I want every single text message. I want timestamps. It is conspicuous that you are not telling us when this was sent because it sounds like it's when the campus is on lockdown and he's got to go back and he's got to clean up. And then all of a sudden we're in the next day when his dad is getting clued in after the picture's been released. They're not telling us that, okay? And you have a right to be a little bit uncomfortable about that because I'm a lot of bit uncomfortable about that. We need full answers. Further to that point, I have found this strange from the beginning that for whatever reason, we're not hearing too much about this Lance guy other than like he's been extremely cooperative. He's handed over his messages. I'm not implying that Lance was involved. I am implying that it's weird that we're not hearing more about him, right? You're telling me he lived with the guy. You're telling me us now, but he's...
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's weird that the Lance guy, I guess, the shooter boyfriend that was transitioning and supposedly didn't have nothing to do with it. But it's awfully weird how his family coming out and saying that, hey man, it was a lot going on before the shooting, days, weeks before the shooting, basically. And Candace Owens basically breaking it down. And I'm like, that is suspicious, but I don't trust them no way. And they leaving out timestamps in the indictment because he was charged, and it's a lot of weird shit going on. But let's get back to it, man. Let's listen to what Candace Owens got to say.
He's been texting with the guy about his plans. They're in love. Is nobody interested in learning more about this character? Okay, so Tyler's people are saying...
Through Rula, it's easier to connect with a therapist who specializes in you.
My fault.
Tell us what's...
Let's go.
Tyler's a good kid. People around Tyler, classmates are telling me he's a good kid. So I go into our tips box, and it turns out that actually Lance Twiggs' family has tried to reach out to me over the weekend. Obviously, I was in a very aggrieved state, and I was not prepared to even accept that Charlie Kirk was not on this earth, okay? And I realized that they're saying to me, like, we want to speak with you, and there's more than one family member that has reached out because we trust you, and we don't trust the media. Good by me. They are, it sounds to me, a very good family. They're absolutely horrified by what has happened, and they are similarly perplexed by there not being more out there about the person he was living with, especially because what they told me, and I can tell you this exclusively, is that the house that Tyler Robinson was living in with Lance is owned by them. Tyler Robinson is paying rent to them. Okay, so they know Lance, obviously, and I'm going to cushion this with allegedly. It isn't allegedly that this is his family members telling me these details, but it is definitely, allegedly what they say until we can hear both sides. Okay, I'm going to pull this up because I took notes regarding Lance because I want to know everything. Okay. Lance, they told us, went to live with his relatives, so no longer in the house with his mother and father. Again, allegedly. His parents kicked him out junior year of high school because he was problematic. He just had issues. And at that time when they kicked him out, that wasn't exactly what they are saying legal for them to have done that. But again, he went to live with relatives and he has issues. They say that he allegedly has a lot of issues with drinking. That Christmas, approximately 3 years ago, he almost.
Yeah, so Candace Owens basically like, the family of the guy, the shooter, the family of Lance basically, which is the trans, reached out to her and was like, hey man, I don't believe that. Something else up with him. So his own family saying, hey, we don't believe the story that the feds giving for real. And then it's even more suspicious because Charlie Kirk was in talks with Israel. So all these things kind of intertwine, and it's giving crazy. And plus, you got a lot of woke people out here, and it's real confusing because these people like, man, he was spewing out hate. But when I go back and look at the video, it's like I don't see that. He might not know a lot biblically to me, right? How I'm looking at the Bible is not exactly how he looking at it, but he kind of on point with how like the world views it, So it is kind of weird, man. Let's get back to it, man. Let's see what Candace Owens got to say. Let's go.
Overdosed. He drank a bottle of vodka. They are telling me that they were there. They were present for this. And fear began to spread about whether or not even the family would be able to take care of him because of issues that he was having. Okay, he graduates high school, and then essentially the extended family says, we can't keep you in our home because of his behavior. Just this past Easter Sunday, they are telling me that he showed up on drugs and he was spouting out of his mouth about political stuff. And at this point, they felt that he could not be around children, that they felt that he had become increasingly more radical, increasingly more dangerous, and just sort of off the rails. They said that they're unhappy that the media is presenting him in this like manner, like he's just this kind of like soft guy, or like, a person that was just transitioning. There's like nothing problematic. There's no prodding. They don't buy the story. Okay. Lance's family is telling me that they are not buying the current story and that they feel that more people are involved. First and foremost, they say that a lot of information should be able to be discerned by his devices because he was, according to them, deep.
At Zaxby's, you can lemon pepper any way you want. Get lemon pepper wings, lemon pepper sandwiches, or
web. Okay. This is the person that is deep on the internet. They said that he was quite reclusive, that he was always on his devices, that he's always on the web, and that there should be more information that comes from there. Okay. He turned 22, they told me, back in August, and that he was, as I said, very into this dark web stuff. I asked what he was doing for work. Like, how are they even able to pay you guys rent? And they told me that he was doing some plumbing work with somebody else in the family. They told us that Tyler and him had been living together for at least a year, that they had not met Tyler, despite the fact that Lance had wanted to foster that meeting, that the two of them, this couple, Tyler and Lance, were living in that townhome that is owned by Lance's family, and that Tyler was paying rent to Lance. And Lance then, of course, was forwarding that payment to them. Now, I had asked them about another persistent rumor that is arriving in my inbox, which people are saying, who live in the neighborhood that they noticed some unusual traffic. And this individual family member said to me, yup, we are hearing the exact same thing. That they would prod that narrative further. But there was some unusual traffic, a lot of cars that were seen outside leading up to the shooting in the days before the shooting or the week before this shooting. I'll straighten out that timeline for you and get real specific because I will pin down when exactly this was happening. But leading up to the shooting, that there were unusual traffic in the driveway where Tyler Robinson and Lance lived. Cars that were not recognized in the neighborhood. This was not a couple that hosted people. It wasn't like they were expecting them to have parties. And so other people are saying that that is something that struck them as odd. There was unusual traffic at this house in the weeks leading up to this shooting. And again, I will perfect that timeline of exactly when. And I have gone out to people for evidence of that. But there were apparently lots of different license plates, and it therefore caused a little neighborhood kerfluffle because other people were not able to park their cars because there were so many people that were at this house. Unusual traffic. Again, we are prodding that narrative. We are taking a look at everybody because if I don't feel good about what we're hearing, okay, and Lance Twig's family doesn't feel good about what we're hearing, and we've got Decoy Boy, who's apparently involved in some deep internet stuff, I would say. It's a fair way to describe it. Decoy Boy, okay, George Zinn. There's more people involved. That's what I'm going to say to you guys. There is very clearly more people involved, okay? This feels to me like a conspiracy. And am I emotionally invested in this? Yes. Somebody said something to, you're unstable. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I have been destabilized by watching Charlie Kirk catch a bullet in his neck and then being gaslit and told nothing to see here. We've got people all around him that are telling little lies. I don't like this, okay? This doesn't feel clean to me.
So, man, it's a lot to talk about, because it's weird that people is like, man, he was talking about this hate shit, Listen, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it do look weird, and I don't believe them. I don't believe nothing they say. I've been not believing them. You know what I'm saying? I've been on that, and just to be honest, man, people is, you got people that's ready to just be like, man, kill a motherfucker because you don't really think like how I think, which is weird as fuck, right? It don't get no weirder than that for real. And man, people need to wake up, man. It's been, listen, okay. It clearly we ain't gonna get on the same page, you know what I'm saying? But biblically, when Charlie Kirk was like, okay, he was breaking it down to a lot of students, and he was going to these universities, and he was causing a ruckus, and they was like, damn, they wasn't feeling it. Clearly, he had an impact enough for, Israel to want him to come fuck with him. So I'm like, it looked weird. Dude supposed to dismantle the gun and run across, and then you got like, what Candace always say, Decoy Boy. I think she was talking about the guy that stood up. It was like, I did it, arrest me, the old man. But you got Lance, you got the shooter family coming out with these stories. It's like, man, and then he supposed to get like reward money. It's like, man, this crazy, man. And people need to wake up. You should have been woke up. That's a fact. But man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man, because to me, it's suspicious. Yeah, I'm feeling with, but I'm on that, and I know what's going on biblically, because how I look at the Bible is probably totally different from somebody else, and a lot of people don't even believe in it. So you know, and then these politics, and then Israel, and then, man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Like that like button, comment, subscribe, and give your boy some goddamn engagement, because your boy trying to grow. I'm out.